Ma'am, shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yes.
Let's enter with the permission of the guest speaker.
With your permission,
Sure,
Dr.
sure.
Prajna.
Most welcome. We can start.
Okay. A very warm and pleasant evening to all the participants present. It gives me pleasure to welcome you all once again to the final day, day 8 of the 8-day online faculty development program on research, publication and patent in humanities and sciences, organized by the Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram, Chennai. After a very engaging session on research, publishing and academic honesty yesterday, we have with us today Dr. Prajna Pani, Professor of English, School of Management, Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha, who is going to speak on plagiarism detection and removal tools and techniques. So I'm sure this is going to be a very apt, give a very apt closure to the FDP and be a very interesting and engaging topic as well. So I request all the participants to stay tuned till the end of the session. At this juncture, I would like to request Dr. Rama, Professor and Head, Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRMIST Ramapuram, to deliver the welcome to the gathering and introduce the speaker of the day to the virtual gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Walter. A pleasant evening to everyone present here. So we are into the final day of the 8-day online FPT. You all must have had wonderful takeaways all the entire 7 days through. Today's topic, as Walter has already said, is probably very, very important because this is a very challenging task that many of the writers of paper articles and paper publications actually go through. So it's not enough if you're done with your paper, then you have to put it through a plagiarism check. And if not, then you'll have to go about making changes and then again plagiarism check, and then it goes on and on. So I'm sure we are all, irrespective of whichever institution we belong to, we are all involved in writing papers, publishing articles. So I think all of us are required to know how to detect plagiarism, how to remove it, and in the process, what are the tools and the techniques involved. And to elaborate on this, we have with us today Dr. Prajna Pani, Professor of English, School of Management, Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha. On behalf of the Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus, I extend a very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We are awaiting to listen to this most important, significant, and interesting topic today. I would also like to welcome the participants. Participants have been with us all these days, and I thank you so much. You made the whole thing happen. So I would like to welcome all of you to this final day of the 8-day online FPT. I also welcome my colleagues, and the special mention must be made to my co-conveners of the FPT, Dr. Savita, Dr. Nadumani, and Dr. Walter. They've been steering the whole thing through all these days, and I want to thank them and welcome them on behalf of the entire department. Before we move to the most interesting talk of the day, it's my proud pleasure to present before you the guest speaker, Dr. Prajna Pani. She is working as a professor at Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha. She obtained her degree from Utkal University in 2008, and her specializations include linguistics, ELT, and 20th century British literature. Dr. Prajna Pani teaches English communication courses at the university, where She won Faculty Excellence Award, New Age Teacher Award, Roll of Honor for her contribution towards academic and student training, responsibilities, and Certificate of Excellence in recognition for publishing a copyright on ratcheting pedagogy for FDP. She has a patent publication titled Smart Customized Teaching Device. She is associated with organizations like LTI, TESOL, and GRDS. She's one of the editors of CFTRA Global. Dr. Pani has invested 22 years to teaching, mentoring, training, and development. She's into multiple roles: head training for placement, Media Resource Center, Research Center for EduTech and SkillSet. She explored the innovative teaching methods using Moodle software, learning apps, blogs using WordPress, and ELT 4.0 tools and technology. She has published many papers in national and international journals of repute and also presented papers in national and international conferences. The most notable ones among those being in Harvard Faculty Club, United States of America, Imperial College, London, and National University, Singapore. Her interest areas are ELT 4.0, soft skills, pedagogy, emotional intelligence, development communication, and IT-enabled communication. Dr. Pani has edited the book, The Education Technology for Engagement and Experience, A New Approach to Learning. She is the co-editor of the book, Repositioning Folklore and Indigenous Knowledge Systems. Dr. Prajna Pani is the author of the book titled Memory as Transcendence in T.S. Eliot's Poetry and co-author of two books, Emotional Intelligence and Communication at Workplace, and Exploring Correlations Among Attitude, Self-Efficacy, and English Language Achievement. She is a content writer and instructional designer. She is also a Udemy instructor for the course Contemporary Development Communication. With such an impressive and exhaustive profile that she possesses, there's no wonder she is probably going to enlighten us on this very, very important topic on plagiarism, detection and removal tools and techniques. So with this, I hand the forum over to you, ma'am, and I thank you so much for being with us. The forum is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rama, for such a beautiful introduction. So can I share the screen now?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Very good evening to all of you. I once again welcome to the last session of the FDP series, Plagiarism Detection and Removal, Tools and Techniques. And I feel honored to be a part of this academic and research forum. And I'm thankful to SRM, Dr. Savita for this coordination, Dr. Rama for this beautiful introduction, and other coordinators, Dr. Nagamani, and I don't know if I'm missing, please excuse me. So, well, friends, this morning I was just reflecting as the major portion of this session has already been covered by two of our resource persons in a very beautiful manner, elaborate manner. So I was in a catch-22 situation whether to continue with the same topic or should I request the facilitators to change the topic Then I was motivated by the lines of Tennyson, Lord Tennyson. And I would like to cite that, yet all experience is an art wherethrough glimpse that untraveled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. The more we explore, the more we experience, the more remains to be explored. So I'm sure that by the end of this session, you will have some new takeaways on the same topic. So the highlights of this session are plagiarism and its types. Yes, I know I will be repeating, and I also want to reiterate, so that certain points are drilled into the minds of the research scholars, so that they take meticulous care to remove plagiarism from their research papers or documents. This is one of the most important concerns, both in academics and research. So I would like to repeat some points that were also presented in the previous sessions. Then I'll give you an exposure to some tools and techniques. We'll go for a small practice session. We'll open some links and we'll put the document to see what kind of responses we are getting. And we will end up with a question and answer session. So what's plagiarism? You already know. It's the representation of someone else's ideas, processes, production, results, language as one's own without giving credit to the original source, without any acknowledgement. So when we talk about plagiarism, what comes to your mind? Can you tell me what comes to your mind? Okay, I think the chart has been disabled. So what comes to my mind here I have presented. Okay, so it like the terms stealing, theft, misappropriation of intellectual property, research misconduct, fabrication, falsification. These are the terms that comes to the normal mind or the mind of the researcher. Now, it's very important to understand, why do people plagiarize? Have you ever reflected? So the research scholars, the students, or whoever is copying should ask this question, should give a creative pause and should ask this question, why do people plagiarize? So you can put your, I think I have to cover all the points. So let's take up some possible reasons. Is it due to the lack of knowledge, lack of skills, lack of time, lack of planning, or is it due to laziness, fear of failure, lack of confidence, poor language skills or poor vocabulary skills, or the confusion to cite sources? The reason could be anything, but it's very, very important to ask this question so that you find a solution to avoid plagiarism or to remove plagiarism. So I will be emphasizing on the various types of plagiarism in a very precise manner. I will be repeating some of the points. Before I go to the types of plagiarism, let us take up some examples of plagiarism. Some examples are creating false citations to credit ideas that are not your own, quoting the words of someone without giving any credit to them, buying the entire term paper or the research paper and turning it as your own. Most of the students do in their MTech, MPhil, and PhD levels. Use the exact words, use the verbatim of someone else in your own work without giving credit to the original source. Paraphrasing or restructuring ideas while relying too heavily on the author's original work. So now I would be talking about the plagiarism detection techniques. Broadly, they are classified into two types. One is textual and the other is the source code. Those who are from the engineering departments, they can very well understand this source code. Now let's take up one example from the textual detection technique. Look at the first sentence. The nearest neighbor-based outlier mining technique is able to detect a plagiarized text segment. The sentence is in the active voice. Now look at the second example, not the second example, the plagiarized sentence, where the scholar has converted the sentence or changed the sentence into passive voice. The scholar has copied the words. Most of the words have been copied and there are only structural changes. Okay, even if you are making structural changes, that is called plagiarism. So one can very well detect the plagiarism in your document. Now let's come to the second type of plagiarism detection technique, how the experts or the reviewers are able to detect even without using the tools or technology. Look at the example that is given under A and compare it with the example that is given under B. Now look at the data set, how there is a change in the words, how the synonyms are used. First is replaced with start. Last is represented as finish. Very smart. Result. Look at the result. The sum becomes the total. And last is not equal to 0, becomes finish is not equal to 0. Sum is equal to first into last, which takes the form, a similar form. Total is equal to last into finish. Last is equal to last minus 1, okay? And it becomes finish is equal to finish minus 1. Very smart work. The scholar thinks that a smart work has been done, but experts can very easily detect this kind of plagiarism. Okay, you are only changing, you are only replacing the words, which you are not supposed to do. Now, let me move on to the next. Is my voice audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So now we'll talk about various types of plagiarism, which you already know, but I think if it is repeated, you will remember when you write. Copy-paste plagiarism is called clone plagiarism, where you are copying others' works and presenting it as your own without using or without giving the credit or with credit. Whatever you do, if you're copying and presenting it as your own, this is called copy-paste or clone plagiarism. Simple paraphrasing plagiarism. Using others' ideas and presenting it in different ways. Okay, the other one, as we discussed, switching the words, I mean the changing or replacing the words, making some structural changes or some changes in the grammatical style. That is called simple paraphrasing plagiarism, which can be avoided. What is metaphor plagiarism? Those who don't know, metaphor is a figure of speech. Okay, so here in metaphor plagiarism, the scholar presents others' ideas in a clear and better manner. Here, I would like to give you an example. Let me know if you're able to see the screen, Word file. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the Word file?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So many of you may not be able to visualize or understand what is metaphor plagiarism. Now look at the original sentence. An invasive species is an ecosystem. Okay, so is an ecosystem takes the form of like an ecosystem. the metaphor is changed to a simile. Okay, in metaphor, we do not use like, as. Okay, comparison is made between two unusual things in metaphor. Okay, the difference between simile and metaphor is, in metaphor, you do not, when you're comparing, you do not use as or like. Is an ecosystem is like a germ in your body. So look at the changes. Like a germ, here the simile is used. It is simply replaced by virus. So I'll move to the other screen. Wait a minute. Okay.
Ma'am, the screen has not changed.
I'm changing now. I'm changing now.
Okay.
So is it changed now?
Yes, now it is on the
Okay,
slide.
too many
Copy paste.
switchovers as a distraction. I'll try to avoid that, but it's better to give some examples for better clarity. So metaphors are used to present others' ideas in a more clear, vivid manner, which touches the emotions, the senses of the people. Idea plagiarism is very simple. Idea or solution is borrowed from other sources, and the scholar claims the content as his or her own. Self and recycled plagiarism relates to your own published work. You're using your own content in a new form and you publish it, which is also not acceptable. This is a very interesting type of plagiarism, 404 plagiarism, which is also called illegitimate source plagiarism. Here the scholar gives the citation, but the citation is invalid, is incorrect, which is non-existing. Okay, so here the scholar is trying to cheat the reviewers or the publishers. Remix and mashup plagiarism, they are nearly the same, where the researcher collects information or content from multiple sources and presents it in a single document and takes the ownership of the document, which is an offense. Control plus C plagiarism, most of you know what is control plus C. You copy the entire document, okay? So the researcher copies a major portion from a single source and presents it without making any change, any alteration, any rewording. So that is called control plus C plagiarism. Hybrid plagiarism is also called mosaic patchwork plagiarism. Here, the perfectly cited documents or articles are copied, content is copied, and arranged as a new document without citation. Okay, something that is already cited. Reliable sources, you take the content, but you do not give the citation. Find, replace plagiarism. I can give some examples. I don't want to switch over to the Word file because it takes time to come back to this. So when we will talk about some paraphrasing tools, just remind me to talk about find and replace plagiarism. Here, the scholar or the student tries to identify some keywords, some important words, some meaningful words and phrases, copies it, and rewords those things. Okay, so changing the most common keywords and phrases in the copied content and not making any changes in the document. Okay, style plagiarism. Here you may give the citation. Here you may not directly copy the words, but if you are following the style of the document, okay, line by line, then that is called style plagiarism. For example, some model. You take up that model and you make some small changes. Okay, so that there what you are doing, you are copying the style. So that is also not allowed in research writing or academic writing. Now, students keep asking how to prevent plagiarism. Most of the research scholars ask this question, how to prevent plagiarism? Because most of the documents, if you put it on Turnitin, first round, the similarity index is more than 60%, and which is quite panicking for the scholar as well as for the guide. So the best way to prevent plagiarism is to be honest. Okay, you can consult with your guide, you can take suggestions, you can take some tips on how to paraphrase, how to reword the things, take effective notes when you are reading literature, use pen and paper, take notes, which is very, very important. Students nowadays are only using the laptop or the mobile to take notes, but use pen and paper to take effective notes. That will be quite helpful for most of you. Learn to cite sources. There are various kinds of citation, numbered system, author date system. You have APA style, MLA style, Chicago style. Okay, read them. I think every organization conducts research methodology classes, attend them. And if you have any doubt, you can discuss with your guide. You can read the manuals. And there are a number of ways. You can go to YouTube. You can download. A lot of documents are available how to cite the sources. Provide references and know how to paraphrase. Okay, it would be a separate session. So I would not be talking about the language usage in paraphrasing, because it will take a lot of time and we will deviate from our own topic. So whatever you use in your document, like photocopies, diagrams, maps, tables, anything, any image that you take, you borrow, provide references. That is very, very much essential. And it is the responsibility of the scholar to ensure that the document is free from plagiarism. So to ensure this, you can use the reliable tools like Turnitin to check the similarity index or the originality of the content. Use your own words as far as possible. Use your own ideas. You can borrow the ideas, but you have to draw inferences and you have to share your observations. If you are copying, if you are adapting, if you are using paraphrased materials, then give proper credit to the sources. And you can use double quotations if you are using exact words. When you are using the verbatim, you can use double quotes. And for God's sake, do not make any cosmetic changes. Okay, whenever you are copying, normally we have a tendency to reword it, to make some structural changes, a word here and there. Okay, try to avoid these kinds of changes. So I will be talking about some plagiarism detection tools. You already know about Turnitin, so I will not be talking about Turnitin. But before that, before discussing some paraphrasing tools and other tools, I would like to talk about manual detection techniques. Okay, without using a technology or tools, the reviewers or the publishers can detect plagiarism in the document. So how it is detected? From your citation style. Okay, there are, so the scholars, those who copy, they used a mixed citation style. Okay, in one place they use numbered system, another place they use author date system. Sometimes it is followed by the page numbers. Either it is a mixed one. Sometimes you use APA style, Chicago style, MLA style, and other styles. So looking at the document, one can trace out the copied content in it. So, and most of the researchers, they lack patience to cite the sources or to use the quotations. Maybe they are not aware of the techniques, or they are just lazy, or they just want to get away from all these things. They just want to finish it and submit it and get a degree. Unusual formatting, anomalies of diction and style, embedded links. So when you are copying and pasting, it comes with a hyperlink. Okay, one can easily know that directly you have taken from the web and you have pasted it. So be careful when you are giving the links. At least remove the hyperlink. If you right click, the hyperlink will go away. So from the embedded links also, see, even if you look at the reference section, so what is happening? So whatever I am reading, for example, I am the scholar, whatever I am reading, I'm not citing its sources. Rather, I'm copying the sources that are given or the references that are given in others' works. So that's a wrong way to go for it. Now, we will take a creative pause because I want to understand. I want to have a pre-knowledge of the various forms and types of plagiarism tools being used by the research scholars and students. What plagiarism detection tools are you using? So let's go to mentimeter.com. It will be better if somebody shares in the chat box. Kalapurna, if you are there, can you please share it? Savita, to ensure whether the link is being posted.
Not it, ma'am.
Okay, so 1 minute. Just check once again.
It is there now, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now it
Okay,
is there.
thank you so much. Okay, okay. So take some time. So I have to be back to this. So I'm not going back to this. So wait a minute. Okay. That's quite interesting. Are you aware of the various forms and types of paraphrasing? Are you all able to see
Yes, it's
the
visible.
survey?
Now.
Okay. To some extent. So there are around 300 participants and I would like a quick response on it. After you do, you can move to the next slide where I would like to know what plagiarism detection tools are you using. Can I have more responses, please? Okay, as I can see, more number of participants are using Grammarly, Turnitin, Urkun. They're familiar with this. But out of 300, it's very difficult to know whether the majority of the participants are aware of it or not. Yes. So the number is not increasing. Can you make it a little fast? If you make it a little fast, then we'll get some time to discuss about the plagiarism detection tools or paraphrasing tools. Most of you were interested to know about it in the previous session. Okay, you can continue. I can refer to it little later to some extent. So 100% only 11. So I think we can come back to our session. Okay. So shall we move to the next? Okay. These are some plagiarism detection and removal tools like Turnitin, Grammarly, Urkun, duplicate checker, plagiarism checker, Qtext, plagiarism remover, authenticate.
Ma'am, the participants are saying that the next question is not accessible.
Okay, so I'll share it little later.
The slide needs to be changed by the presenter, it says.
Okay. So anyways, let's now not go back again to that as I have, as we have 10 minutes more. So I would like to talk about the paraphrasing tools, some plagiarism detection tools and paraphrasing tools. Okay, so one by one we can explore. This would be a practice session. So how shall we proceed? It would be good if some of the presenters, Savita, I'm sending some of the tools to you via mail.
Yes, ma'am.
You can one by one, you can post it. Okay, when I'm talking about one particular tool, then you can post that particular tool in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So first, we will go to Quillbot. And I request all the participants to open Quillbot.
Ma'am, just a minute. I have not yet received your mail.
Okay. So I'll be taking a portion and pasting it there.
Yes, ma'am. I received now.
Okay. We'll take a small para. So this particular tool is widely used by people. If we compare, this is in demand. So you have a lot of features here: paraphraser, plagiarism checker, co-writer, summarizer. So the scholars who are new to this can use it. I will not recommend the use of these summarizing tools or paraphrasing tools, but one can use it as an assistive technology. So those who are struggling can use it, but ultimately you have to apply your mind. Because the synonyms that they provide, the phrases that they will suggest, it may not be always correct. So as the research scholar, you are the right person to know and accordingly use your own words. So you have multiple options. If you want fewer changes, okay, you can reduce it. If you want more changes in the synonym, you can just increase it. I think there is low connectivity. It is turning round and round. Is anybody using this tool right now? Yes. So then you can rephrase it. It has already taken. You can experiment all these tools. You can see there are some changes. It has already been rephrased. Now let's take up one more. Text RU. I'll be happy if you simultaneously try with me You can change the language. See, there are a lot of paraphrasers, rewriters, spinners. You can always try. Sorry. You can put the content. You can take any content just to experiment it. You can check for uniqueness. See, it has again changed the language. You can try it. I don't want to go back to the same page. Plagiarismdetector.net. Savita, can you please allow some of the participants to open and share the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Because, you know, FDPs are meant for the practice sessions. Unless and until they practice it, they will not be able to.
I'm just giving permission to the participants, ma'am, to share screen.
Okay. I will unshare after showing this. So, Savita, what you can do, you can
Yes.
post all the links that I have. I hope you have posted all the links. Put it in the chat box. One by one, we can invite them, let them practice and share their observations. So sometimes you have to use, I'm not a bot, and you have to select all this to do it. So right now I am unsharing my screen. And I would like the participants to share the screen. Sujata Upadhyay has raised her hand.
Someone is sharing screen already.
Okay, okay. All of you be ready with the Word file document. You can upload it or you can copy and paste it. Keep talking so that it can be engaging. While you use it, you read out the words, you can put it, say what device are you using, though it is visible, but keep talking and sharing, and others can also talk. Let some of the participants get an idea. See, there are paraphrasers, summarizing tools, rewriters. Sentence orders can be changed. So those who are not confident with their language skills to begin with, they can use it, because once you know how it is being restructured, then you can do it on your own and you will not need the help of this plagiarism detection tools or the paraphrasing tools. Is a single person using it? After this, another person can come and can. So it's very encouraging to see the comments. You are finding it interesting. When you use it, you will find it interesting. But as I said, word by word, you don't have to use it. You can use your own vocabulary. Yeah, correction is slow, but we'll do it again. Check your internet connection. What is the use of detecting plagiarism? Well, this has been discussed a number of times, because when you send it to some publisher, it is rejected. Most of the time it is rejected because of plagiarism. So it's better, because many of you cite sources, you write your literature review, you quote it, but you are not able to reword it or put it in your own language. See, you can put it in the form of an image. I got your point, I got your question, but there you are hiding, you are plagiarizing it, you are hiding, and you will not be caught. So don't do that. Yeah, sure. Savita will post it in the WhatsApp group.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
So can you all move to the next, because you are all in the same detection file. Can you go to the next paraphrasing tool, another tool? And I want somebody else to use it. Share the screen. Yes, it hinders your natural ability. See, I agree with you. That's the reason why I said those who are struggling to present the ideas in their own words, it can assist them. So as a researcher, I don't recommend to use these paraphrasing tools. But if you're not able to, there are many scholars, many students who are not able to present their own ideas. They're not able to use proper vocabulary, and they lack the language skills. So who is sharing the screen now? See, do not depend on these plagiarism checkers, because you will not get the 100% correct results. These are only suggestive. Turnitin is the best. So use these things. If you need any help in paraphrasing, yeah, somebody is asking to send the links again. One of you can repost it in the group.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I think you can continue with this kind of practice. So Savita, can you post another link in Mentimeter? Just
Yes, ma'am.
takeaways of the participants from this session. And if you have more questions, what's the question? Even Turnitin is not so accurate. So why do majority of the universities rely on it? I have no answer to this. See, whether the tools are accurate, see, we are using this to detect and minimize the plagiarized or plagiarism. So it's better that, as I suggested, use your own words, summarize it, and if you find it difficult, you can use some of the spinners or the rewriters or paraphrasers. Savita will post a link. Please do share your comments on it, because that will help me to plan for the upcoming sessions. If you have any doubts.
Ma'am, would you like the Menti link to be posted or
Yes, Menti link to be posted.
the same one as earlier?
Yes, the second one that I have shared with Savita.
Okay.
Yes, somebody is asking, what about using news report images in case? Well, you are not supposed to do that. See, if the image is very important, you can provide the reference. But news report images, you are not supposed to do that. Normally, in research writing, we do not take extracts or images from the news reports. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I would like to request all of you to go to menti.com. Kalapurna, you can share the code. We have almost come to an end of the session. So these were some of the tools that I have explored. Excuse me. One. If there are any questions, if you have more questions, you can take up, or we can conclude the session here.
Prajna ma'am, you can kindly unmute your mic. I had to mute all because some participants had.
Okay, sure. So now what I was saying, we have almost come to an end of the session. If there are more questions, we can discuss, or else we can conclude here. And thank you very much for having patience. I thought in the last session, normally in FDPs and all, towards the end, we do not have any audience. And I must appreciate the organizers and the participants being present till the end. So we can conclude if there are no more questions.
I'm just checking the YouTube because we have this live streamed also.
Thank you once again to all the participants, organizers.
I think you have answered. It's mostly on general questions on
yes.
how to use the tools and detect
right.
the similarity. So I think you have answered most of those questions, ma'am.
Yes, yes. I have seen and I have answered almost all questions that I could see here. And I'm glad that the session was found useful by the participants. And if anything else is coming up for the discussion, we can create another forum for a discussion. And if anybody knows about any new tools, new technology that can be used, can also share, can come forward and can share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Prajna, ma'am. I would like to request Dr. Rama, Professor and Head, to give the concluding remarks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Walter. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you immensely on behalf of the entire department and our institution. And if you're wondering why it is the audience is 300 and it is jam packed, it's all because of the way you conducted the entire session. It was not just an FDP, it was not just an expert talk, it was more than that. It was like a mini workshop. So I think the participants would have benefited immensely out of it. So I want to thank you so much. I know you rushed back from work and you had to take this session up. So we are all very fortunate to have listened to you, and lots of things I think, especially the young researchers, must have learned. So I am sure they'll go home very contented after listening to your session and to all the sessions of the 8 days. So I want to thank all the entire lot of guest speakers who came on all the 8 days and made this a very, very, very unforgettable and memorable faculty development program. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rama, ma'am. At this juncture, I would like to request my colleague, Dr. Savita, to give an overview of the entire FDP and a brief report. Ma'am, Savita ma'am.
Thank you, Walter. Good evening, everyone. SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram, deem it a pleasure to host all the participants for the 8-day faculty development program on research, publication, and patent in humanities and sciences, organized by the Department of English and Other Foreign Languages from 22nd of August to 30th of August 2022. The FDP addresses the various aspects of writing and publishing a research paper. This FDP was aimed for teachers who are teaching various disciplines of science and humanities subjects in colleges and universities and research scholars. We had received 2,000 plus registrations from various colleges and universities across the country. We have been fortunate to have some of the eminent persons from academia. Dr. Mukesh Yadav, Professor, Department of Basic Sciences and Humanities, Universities of Engineering and Management, Jaipur, Rajasthan, inaugurated the FDP program and addressed on the academic writing in Indian context, research and publication, and briefed on how to write a good research thesis. In the first day of the FDP, Dr. Anand Mahanan, Professor, Department of Material Development, Testing and Evaluation, the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, focused on how to write and publish a research paper in humanities and in ELT. In the second day of the FDP, Dr. Pankaj Narke, Assistant Professor of Department in the Humanities and Social Sciences, Mahindra University, Hyderabad, guided the participants on the stages of writing an abstract, the standard structures and strategies that are to be followed in academic writing. Day 3, we had with us Dr. Saravanan, Senior Assistant Professor of English in the School of Social Sciences and Languages, Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore. He delivered an enlightening talk on how to write research papers effectively for getting it published in quality journals, to increase the citation index, and to obtain patents, copyright, to increase the API scores. On the fourth day, Dr. Govindraj Chinnatambi, Associate Professor and Head in Charge of the Department of English, Periyar University PG Extension Center, Center for Postgraduate and Research Studies, Dharmapuri, gave an extensive insight on the importance and objectives of research methods and methodologies. In the first day, Dr. S. Veeramani, Assistant Professor and Head, Government Arts and Science College, Lalgudi, highlighted the challenges and issues that are faced in research and the ways to overcome it. The guest speaker of sixth day, Dr. Shabina Fatima, Assistant Professor of English from the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Telangana, presented a talk on the process and procedures of filing patent in India and also the process of obtaining copyright. The day 7, we had yet another erudite talk by Dr. Santosh Mahapatra, Assistant Professor with Pilani, Hyderabad campus, who highlighted on the significance of doing an organized research publication and motivated the participants to indulge in the original research. And on the last day, Dr. Prachna Pani, Professor of English, School of Management, Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha, gave a very enlightening and interactive talk on the various types of plagiarism, how to prevent, and the techniques to detect using various types of paraphrasing tools. This faculty development program fulfills its prime objectives to bring the faculties and research scholars onto one platform to update with the advancement of in the areas of research. Participants also had to fill a feedback form wherein they could express their opinion about the day's topics and the respective resource persons. Furthermore, there was also a discussion forum where the participants could discuss their doubts and give a more detailed feedback to the day's module. It was heartening to receive positive feedback from participants. This is a huge success in itself and a unique opportunity to learn from the best experts in the areas of research, publication, and patent. I hope that your takeaways were satisfactory. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Savita, for giving that brief report and overview of the FDP. I now request Dr. Nagamani, the co-convener of the FDP, to deliver the final formal vote of thanks. Over to you, Nagamani ma'am.
Was it she was here only, no?
Yes, 1 minute. I'll just check if she has logged out, and then if I have to make a co-host once again for her to unmute. No, I think she has been logged out from the session.
Nagamani ma'am, unmute your mic.
Yes,
Ma'am,
thank
I've
you.
made you co-host.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry for the inconvenience. It is a proud and happy moment to propose vote of thanks for a phenomenal closure of the 8-day online FDP on research, publication, and patent in sciences and humanities, organized by the Department of EFL, SRMIST, Ramapuram campus. With humble thanks and surrender to the God Almighty for every blessing He has showered, I move on to express my sincere gratitude to the management of SRMIST for being supportive of all our endeavors. I thank our resource person of today's session, who was another feather on the cap. Very appropriate closure for the 8-day FDP. Thank you so much, ma'am. I place on record my deep and earnest appreciation for all the resource persons of the FDP. Thank you, dear academicians, for having readily accepted our invite and graced the entire FDP sessions with your remarkable and gracious presence. Without your magnanimity and value time being spent with us all the tiresome evenings after a day's work, this would not have materialized. On behalf of the department, I thank everyone for the best of academic knowledge they have shared with all the participants. I would fail in my duty if I do not place on record my sincere gratitude to two of the resource persons, Dr. Saravanan and Dr. Veeramani, who were the real saviors of the days in which the scheduled speakers were unfortunately not able to turn up. We thank them for responding spontaneously with their kind gesture. We thank them immensely for extending a helping hand in times of need. Bounteous sense of grace is due unto our head of the department, who had always been there helping us and motivating us in all possible ways. Thank you, ma'am. I thank our co-convener, Dr. Savita, for her relentless efforts to bring into forum such wonderful resource persons from various reputed institutions. Thank you, ma'am. I thank my colleague, Dr. Walter Hugh Parker, for his immense, unfailing support in making this event a grand success. Our special thanks goes to you, dear participants, who have been enthusiastic and active in all sessions, keenly observing and asking questions to the speakers. Thank you for being with us and making the FDP a rich intellectual journey. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nagamani ma'am. Before we close the session, I would like to inform the participants that the overall feedback has been posted. So kindly fill in the feedback, and the certificates will be sent within a week to 10 days. And with the permission of the resource persons, we will get their presentations and forward it. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Prajna ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you, Prajna ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was lovely interacting with you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope to see you in some
It was
other
our pleasure, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Walter?
Ma'am, if you can leave, ma'am.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Savita, ma'am.
Yes. Shall I leave, Walter?
Savita, ma'am, thank you so much. You were the lifeline of the FDP.
Thank you. Finally, it is done.
Without